Eddie Munson of the Netflix show Stranger Things is the leader of a gang named the Hellfire Club. They're taunted by the cool kids for being misfits and devil worshippers, when in truth, all they want is to get lost in the magic of Dungeons and Dragons. Their gang is innocent enough, but all the way in Dublin, Ireland, the name the Hellfire Club holds a lot more sinister meaning. You see, at the top of Montpelier Hill stands a lodge, burnt out and dishevelled from the outside, with a history of immoral acts having been carried out there. Better known by the locals as the Hellfire Club. It began in 1725, when one of the wealthiest men in Ireland, William Connolly, decided the hill would be a great place to build a hunting lodge. He didn't seem bothered by the fact that there was an ancient passage grave with a cairn of stones already there. With his money and power, it was just a small issue of destroying it and even using one of the grave's standing stones as the lintel for his fireplace. It seems he really had no morals at all. But this seemed to bite him in the ass when sometime later the roof was blown off the lodge during a particularly harsh storm. Locals believed that angry spirits were making themselves known for the disrespect that William Connolly had shown the grave. After Connolly's death, the lodge was sold on to a man named Richard Parsons in 1735 and turned it into one of his meeting grounds for the Irish Hellfire Club. Parsons was a man well known to the area for dabbling in black magic, heavy drinking, gambling and much more. Many say that he loved to shock people with his behaviour, and it's safe to say he did just that. Now, the members of the Hellfire Club met at different locations across the city, one being the Eagle Tavern that once stood on Cork Hill in Dublin. Due to the club being shrouded in secrecy, locals to the area believed that devil worshipping was going on, amongst other things, and to be fair, they don't appear to have been wrong. You see, members of the Hellfire Club seem to revel in sexual acts, violence, gambling, alcohol and disrespecting the Bible. Numerous reports even said that they had all made pacts with the devil and would drink scalthine, which is hot whiskey and butter, out of a silver punch bowl to celebrate. The president of the club was named the King of Hell and even dressed like Satan with horns, wings and hooves. At their feasts, they'd even set a place at the table for the devil, just in case he decided to join the evening festivities. Many say that sacrifices would take place of servants and cats, while the club held black masses, and that the building was even set on fire purposefully to enhance the lodge's hellish atmosphere. There are many tales of the acts that were carried out at the Hellfire Club, so let's discuss some of them. One night it is said that a stranger visited the club while they sat around playing cards. During the evening, one player dropped a card on the floor, and as he picked it up, he noticed that the stranger across from him had cloven hooves instead of feet. It seemed on this particular evening the devil had joined them. Now that must have been alarming to see, even if you do welcome Satan with open arms, but you can only imagine how the locals felt about all this behaviour, especially as most of them were Catholic. One local farmer decided to see for himself what was really going on at the top of Montpelier Hill. After being seen by club members, he was invited inside to witness for himself their activities. It's said that the following morning he was found trembling with fear and for the rest of his life was unable to speak or even remember his name. Which begs the question, what did the poor man see that was so terrifying? There was also a tale of a young man visiting the area who decided to go and investigate the infamous club. The following morning, he was found dead, with the local priest and landlord believing him to have been murdered. Filled with fury and demanding justice, they went up the hill to the Hellfire Club to see a feast laid out on a grand table, while a black cat prowled the room. Now, this wasn't an ordinary cat by their accounts, as its ears were shaped like horns. Appalled by the sight of the unholy animal, the priest retrieved holy water from his coat and started to perform an exorcism, which resulted in the cat being torn apart. The landlord to the poor traveller was found outside the lodge, badly injured, with his face and neck deeply scratched by what looked like claws. A while after this, there was even a letter found, believed to have been written by a club member. It referenced the sacrifice of maidens, but many have since argued that it was really referring to taking the virginity of young ladies in one of their many orgies, and not their lives. Now, worth mentioning is that the club members were quite renowned men in their own right, with money and power. The alleged master of revels, James Wordsdale, is said to have formed another Hellfire Club in Limerick. A man named Henry Barry, titled the Lord of Santry, was a renowned drunk and a nasty one too. It's believed he was responsible for the murder of the chairman, who was set alight while lying sick in bed. Henry Barry is said to have escaped prosecution, even though many believed him guilty. This truly was a club for high-class men that seemed to believe that they were above the law and any religious retribution. They wanted to push the boundaries of society as far as they could. The lodge still stands at the top of the hill. It's located in the Dublin mountains and about a 30-minute drive south of the city centre, with gorgeous views making it worth the journey. But people say you are best not to travel up there at night. The Hellfire Club may be a distant yet disturbing memory, but there are still reports of unusual smells and a creepy atmosphere, with many having seen evidence of satanic rituals still taking place.